Earlier this week, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to end cashless bail across the country. White House officials say states without cash bail could lose federal funding. President Trump says the practice isn't hard enough on crime and lets dangerous people back on the streets before their trial. KWQC's Kayla Page talked to the Rock Island County Sheriff today, and Kayla, he says there are some benefits of keeping cashless bail.
Right, Sharon. Illinois could find itself in another battle with President Trump and the federal government. But I spoke with that Rock Island Sheriff Darren Hart today, who has over 30 years of experience and has used both systems. He says there are pros and cons to the system, but ultimately keeping the community safe remains his focus.
Well, I've worked under both now, and I think that there was pros and cons to both of the bond systems that we had in place.
In 2023, Illinois became the first state to eliminate cash bail when the state Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of the law, abolishing it. Sheriff Darren Hart has found it to be a system that runs smoothly for Rock Island County, and he says the data remains consistent.
We are seeing a similar amount of jail bookings, so that really hasn't decreased during this period of time. In some of the data that we know here for Rock Island County, we're issuing about the same amount of warrants. So when you talk about community safety, we're not seeing that there's been a big change in the sense of, violent crime. Is it on the rise? We haven't seen that type.
The move was part of the Illinois government's expansive criminal justice system overhaul that began in 2021. This is commonly known as the Safety Act. While there are advocates for the reform, many remain skeptical on its effectiveness.
What we are seeing is that although our jail bookings are approximately the same, the concern we have is that it's a lot of in and out. We're seeing a lot. We're seeing individuals, 20, 30 individuals that were arrested from the previous night going to court appearances, and a majority of those being released.
Despite these challenges, he says there are benefits to being able to detain someone who poses a danger and knowing that they can't post money.
The value to that is community safety. And that's what law enforcement's about, is that we want to protect our communities as best we can with the resources we have available. And we want to know that when an individual, it could be a violent individual or an individual that preys on individuals, that those individuals are kept in incarceration and in detainment and held for trial. And that's really what the system is designed to do.
One skeptic of cashless bail is President Trump, who recently called out the states who have implemented it. Trump says the system is, quote, a threat to public safety. But as for Rock Island County, the sheriff says,
I'm not seeing it go in either direction. I think our communities are as safe now as they've ever been. Law enforcement's out there on the front lines, answering calls, trying to protect our communities as best we can, and we're using the tools available to us here in the state of Illinois.
Now, Sheriff Hart did want to clarify that the number of issued warrants mentioned were for 2021 through 2025 for failure to appear during the encompassing years, not entailing all warrants issued by the courts. Now, as for the stats, the University of Loyola did a study in the year following Illinois' decision to end cash bail and showed jail populations only went down slightly. People who lead the study believe a similar amount of people are getting released, but it now takes less time with people not having to get money to post bail. The most recent data out of Cook County shows 61% of people who have gone in front of a judge for a pretrial hearing have been kept behind bars. That number jumps to 69% if there is a felony charge in the case. We also reached out to the Safer Foundation for additional response, but they declined to comment at this time. Sharon.
All right, thank you, Kayla.